You may not know this song by name. You may not know the language it's sung in, but chances are you've felt it. The rhythm that stays with you, a voice that feels familiar even when you don't understand the words. That feeling has a name, Sabali. It's a song that doesn't rush you. It doesn't ask for your attention. It waits. In a world that moves fast, Sabali moves different. It slows time. It reminds you to breathe. And without most people realizing it, this quiet song from Mali traveled further than almost any anthem of its era. From radio waves in West Africa to dance floors in Europe to the opening track of a hip-hop album by Nas, not by accident, but by resonance. This is the story of how a song about patience crossed cultures, genres, and generations without losing itself. It's the story of Amadou and Mariam and how listening closely can change everything. Some songs shout to be heard, but this one whispers and stays in your head. Before the world knew them as musical ambassadors of Africa, before the international awards, global tours and collaborations with superstars, there was Bamako, the beating heart of Mali. Bamako is a city where music lives in the air. From weddings to marketplaces, from riverbanks to radio waves, sound is woven into everyday life. And it was here that the two young souls, Amadou Bagayoko and Mariam Doumbia, began journeys that would one day interest in a way few could ever imagine. Amadou was born in 1954 into a family where music was respected, but life was modest. As a teenager, he lost his eyesight due to complications from cataracts. For many, that loss would have marked the end of ambition. But for Amadou, it shaped his listening, and music became his vision. Mariam was born in 1958 and lost her sight at just 5 years old due to untreated measles. Growing up blind in Mali was not easy, especially for a young girl. But Mariam possessed something powerful, a voice that could silence a room. Their paths crossed at the Institute for the Young Blind in Bamako, a place that didn't just teach survival skills, but nurtured creativity. It was here that Amadou learned guitar and Mariam refined her singing. What began as a friendship turned into a musical harmony. What turned into musical harmony slowly became love. Amadou will play the guitar, influenced by Malian blues, Jimi Hendrix, and James Brown. Mariam will sing. Her voice was gentle, emotional, and deeply expressive. Together, they discovered something rare. Their blindness didn't limit their creativity. It freed them. Music wasn't about image. It was about feelings. By the time they got married in 1980, they were already inseparable. On stage and off stage. A husband and a wife, two voices, but one sound.
Les Les dimanches à Bamako, c'est les jours de mariage.
In the early years, Amadou and Mariam performed wherever music was welcomed, community events, radio sessions, and cultural festivals. Their sound was deeply African, but it carried something different. They blended traditional Malian rhythms with rock, funk, blues, and soul. It was familiar to people around, but yet still new to their ears. During the 1980s and the early 1990s, cassette culture ruled West Africa. Music spread hand to hand. Amadou and Mariam became regional stars through the word of mouth, not marketing, because at the time they were not rich, but their ambition stretched beyond borders. In the mid-1990s, they made a bold decision. They moved from Bamako to Paris, France. Paris exposed them to melting pot of cultures, Afro-Caribbean sounds, electronic music, Latin rhythms, and underground pop scenes. Instead of losing their identity, their Malian roots grew even much stronger. Their 1998 album titled Suni Tile became their first major breakthrough in Europe. The single Je pense à toi resonated deeply, a love song filled with longing, memory, and tenderness. Suddenly, after the release of the song, Europe was listening. But the true turning point came in 2004 with the album titled Dimanche à Bamako. Produced by Manu Chao, the album was a cultural explosion. It sounded African, it sounded global, and at the same time it sounded timeless. Songs like Beau Dimanche and Senegal Fast Food addressed immigration, globalization, and African identity, all wrapped in irresistible melodies. The album won Victoire de la Musique Award in France and pushed Amadou and Mariam into global stage. They were no longer just musicians, they were storytellers of Africa in the modern world. By the time Amadou and Mariam began working on their 2008 album titled Welcome to Mali, they had already achieved international respect, but they weren't interested in repeating themselves. They wanted to go deeper. Enter Don Albarn, a musician, producer, and a cultural bridge builder. Known for Blur and Gorillaz, Albarn shared Amadou and Mariam's belief that music had no borders. Together, they created Sabali. The word Sabali comes from the Bambara language. It means patience, but not passive waiting. Sabali is about endurance, about surviving hardship, about believing in tomorrow even when today is difficult. Musically, Sabali was revolutionary. A looping electronic rhythm anchors the song. Traditional Malian melodies float above it. Mariam's voice moves like a prayer, which is calm, steady, and unwavering. The song doesn't rush, it breathes. This wasn't just a track, it was a meditation. Released as the opening song on Welcome to Mali's album, Sabali set the tone for the entire album. Critics immediately recognized its power. It crossed radio formats, it crossed continents, it crossed genres. From the world music stations to underground DJ sets, Sabali became a quiet anthem. And somewhere across the Atlantic, a hip-hop legend was listening. To truly understand Sabali, you have to understand the weight of the word itself. In Bambara culture, Sabali doesn't simply mean patience. It means endurance without bitterness. It means holding on without losing dignity. It means trusting time, even when it feels unfair. For Amadou and Mariam, Sabali wasn't abstract philosophy. It was lived experience. They had grown up blind in a society with limited access, limited resources, and limited opportunity. They had waited for years before the world paid attention. And yet their response was never anger. It was music. The lyrics of Sabali repeat like a mantra. They don't preach. They don't accuse. They reassure. In a world obsessed with speed, Sabali slows everything down. Many listeners have interpreted the song as political, and in a quiet way, it speaks to post-colonial Africa. But it never demands it. It invites. That subtle is what made Sabali universal. People who didn't speak Bambara still felt the message. The rhythm carried it. The tone delivered it. This is why Sabali became more than a song. It became a state of mind. And that's why across the oceans, people, hip-hop stars sampled it, and it blew up in the Americas. Unlike many global hits, Sabali didn't explode overnight. It spread slowly, organically, almost secretly. DJs discovered it first, then producers, then artists. Its looping rhythm made it perfect for remix culture. Electronic producers reworked it. Indie musicians referenced it. World music DJs built entire sets around its hypnotic pulse. What made Sabali special was its space. It left room for interpretation, for sampling, for conversations. This is how great music travels, not by force, but by resonance. At festivals, crowds who had never heard of Amadou and Mariam found themselves moving to a song they didn't fully understand or they had never heard before. But they felt it so deeply. And somewhere within hip-hop, a genre built on sampling, memory, and rhythm, Sabali found a new home. By 2010, Sabali had traveled far beyond its origins. It was no longer just world music track. It had become a tool, passed quietly from DJ to DJ, producer to producer. Its rhythm found life in late night sets. Its melody lingered in studio sessions. Its message moved without translation. And this is often how influence really works. Not through charts, not through headlines, but through listening. Hip-hop has always been built this way. From its earliest days, hip-hop borrowed, looped, and transformed sounds from wherever truth could be found. Jazz records, funk breaks, Caribbean rhythms, African percussions. So it was only a matter of time before Sabali reached someone who understood exactly what it carried. By this point in his career, Nas was no longer searching for hits. He was searching for meaning. He was asking bigger questions about history, about identity. At the same time, Damian Jr. Marley was asking those same questions through reggae, through legacy, and through inheritance. When Nas and Damian Marley came together to create Distant Relatives, which was an album they released in 2010, the idea wasn't to sample Africa for flavor, it was to return to it. The search led them to Sabali, not because it was trendy, not because it was exotic, but because it felt familiar. The opening track, Patience, doesn't announce itself loudly. It eases in, just like Sabali had done across the world. Mariam's voice flowed through the song like memory, not decoration, but foundation. The message aligns perfectly. Waiting, enduring, believing that time carries truth. Nas and Damian didn't reshape Sabali to fit hip-hop. They let hip-hop sit inside it. And in that moment, something profound happened. A song born in Bamako, shaped in Paris, passed through DJs and dance floors, returned through reggae and rap, came full circle. Sabali didn't just influence hip-hop, it reminded hip-hop where it came from.
Carry the language of Egyptian mummies and fly to the moon and can't find food for the starving commies. Pay no mind to the youths, cause it's not like the future depends on it. Go save the animals in the zoo, cause the chimpanzee them a make big money. Okay. This is how the media villages, on TV the picture is savages in villages, and the scientists still can't explain the pyramids. Evangelists making a living on the videos of ribs of the little kids, stereotyping the image of the images, and this is what the image is.
When Sabali returned through hip-hop, something quietly shifted. It was no longer just a song traveling outward. It had completed a journey, and in doing so, it revealed its true purpose. This is how legacy works, not in straight lines, but in circles. A rhythm born in Mali, carried across continents, filtered through clubs, studios, and sound systems, returned through reggae and rap, and settled back into global consciousness, unchanged in spirit. For Amadou and Mariam, this moment wasn't about validation. They had never chased approval. Their works had always been rooted in patience, in Sabali itself. By this point in time, their influence was undeniable. They weren't just collaborators, they were reference points. Artists didn't look them for trends, they looked to them for truth. They performed on world's biggest stages, not as guests, but as equals. They stood as representatives of African creativity, not filtered, not softened. The achievements stacked up, but they wore them lightly. International awards and honors, performances at peace concerts and global festivals, cultural recognitions beyond genre or geography. Yet none of that was the legacy. The legacy was what came next. Younger artists across Africa and the diaspora now moved freely between sounds. They sampled without apology. They fused without explanations. That freedom existed before artists like Amadou and Mariam proved it was possible. Sabali taught the industry something it often forgets. You don't have to rush genres. You don't have to shout truths. You don't have to compromise identity to be heard. The song still plays today in DJ sets, playlists, and memories. And every time it does, it carries the same message. Be patient, stay rooted, trust the rhythm. Because when music is honest, it doesn't disappear. It travels, it returns, and it lasts. Some music demands attention, other music earns it. Sabali never chased the world, it waited. Born from patience, shaped by experience, and carried by rhythms, it traveled further than anyone could have planned, not by force, but by feeling. From two blind musicians in Bamako, guided not by sight but by sound, to global stages, studio sessions, and a hip-hop record that traced its roots back home, this wasn't a coincidence. It was alignment. Because when music is honest, it doesn't need translation. It doesn't need permission. It finds its way. Sabali reminds us that Africa is not a footnote in modern music. It's the beginning. That patience is not weakness. It is strength. And that the most powerful sounds don't rush to be heard. They wait to be understood. This is more than a song. It's a journey, a lesson, a rhythm that refuses to fade. This is the legacy of Amadou and Mariam. This is Sabali. And this is the sound of patience. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. Let me know which artist you will want me to cover next. Thanks for watching and see you on the next.